The wild ride of human history, from cave dwellers to space travelers. How we went from zero to hero, all right. Buckle up, folks, because I am about to drop some serious knowledge about how humans went from being totally clueless cave people to running the whole dang planet. So picture this, about 300,000 years ago in Africa, our ancestors were just trying to survive. We're talking serious struggle mode here. These early humans were basically just vibing in small groups, hunting whatever they could find, and hoping they didn't become lunch for some saber-toothed cat. But here's the kicker. Humans had something special cooking upstairs. Our brains were getting bigger, and we were starting to communicate in ways that made other animals look like total amateurs. Fast forward to around 70,000 years ago, and humans decided Africa was getting way too crowded. So what did they do? They bounced. This massive migration was legit one of the biggest deals in human history. Groups split up and headed out. Some rolled into Asia, others hit up Europe, and eventually humans were literally everywhere. Talk about being overachievers. We adapted to every crazy environment you can imagine, from frozen tundras where it's cold as heck, to scorching deserts where you'd think nothing could survive. Then, about 12,000 years ago, something absolutely mind-blowing happened. The agricultural revolution. Some genius in Mesopotamia, that's modern-day Iraq, for those keeping score, figured out, hey, why are we chasing animals around all day when we could just grow our own food? Game changer, dude. They started planting wheat, barley, and all sorts of crops. They domesticated animals, goats, cows, sheep, the whole farm squad. This wasn't just some small upgrade. This completely flipped the script on everything. Once people started farming, they couldn't just pack up and leave anymore. So they built permanent settlements. First came little villages, then towns, and before you know it, boom, actual cities. Around 5,000 years ago, the first legit civilizations started popping off. We're talking the Sumerians in Mesopotamia, the ancient Egyptians doing their thing along the Nile, the Indus Valley civilization with Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, and the Chinese getting their empire started by the Yellow River. These ancient civilizations were straight-up innovators. The Sumerians invented writing. Yeah, they literally invented the ability to write stuff down. The Egyptians came up with those dope hieroglyphics. This was huge because now people could actually record information and pass it down. No more playing that telephone game where everything gets messed up after 3 people. And don't even get me started on the pyramids. The Egyptians built those massive things without cranes, bulldozers, or any modern equipment. Like, how? Scientists are still scratching their heads trying to figure out exactly how they pulled that off. That's some serious hustle right there. Jump ahead to about 2,500 years ago in ancient Greece, and philosophy becomes the hot new thing. Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle were basically the OG deep thinkers. These guys were asking the big questions. Who are we? What's the meaning of life? How does this whole universe thing work? They weren't just satisfied with because the gods said so. They wanted real answers. Then the Romans showed up and basically conquered everyone. Their empire stretched from Britain all the way to North Africa. They built roads that were so good, some are still around today. They created laws, epic architecture, and honestly just flexed on everybody for a few centuries. In the 7th century, Islam emerged from Arabia and brought a golden age of learning. Baghdad became the ultimate hub for science, math, medicine, and philosophy. Muslim scholars were absolutely crushing it. They invented math students, advanced chemistry, and made huge leaps in medicine. While Europe was going through its dark ages and struggling, the Islamic world was thriving and preserving all that ancient knowledge. Then the 15th century rolled around with the Renaissance in Europe. Artists like Leonardo da Vinci were creating masterpieces and inventing wild stuff in their spare time. Explorers like Columbus were sailing off to find new lands. Though, real talk, there were already people living there. It was like humanity suddenly remembered how to be awesome again. The 18th century brought the Industrial Revolution, and honestly, things got nuts. Steam engines, factories, machines doing the work of hundreds of people. The whole world was transforming. People left farms and packed into cities. It was messy, sometimes brutal, but it changed everything about how humans lived and worked. The 20th century, that's when we really went off the rails in both good and bad ways. We invented airplanes and went from, wow, we can fly, to landing on the freaking moon in just 66 years. Mind blown, we created computers, the internet, smartphones, basically everything that makes modern life what it is. But let's keep it 100. Humans also screwed up big time. 2 world wars killed millions of people. We created weapons that could destroy the entire planet. There were famines, pandemics, and all sorts of terrible stuff. Humanity's track record isn't perfect, not even close. Here's the thing though, every single time we got knocked down, we got back up. That's the real story of human history. We're resilient as heck. We learn, we adapt, we innovate, and we keep pushing forward. Now, here we are in the 21st century with artificial intelligence, genetic engineering, and plans to colonize Mars. We went from banging rocks together to building robots that can think. From never leaving our villages to video chatting with someone on the other side of the planet. From writing on clay tablets to having all of human knowledge in our pockets. So what's the takeaway from this wild ride? Humans are pretty dang incredible when you think about it. We started with literally nothing. No claws, no fangs, not even thick fur to keep us warm. But we had big brains, opposable thumbs, and the ability to work together. And we used those advantages to become the most dominant species on Earth. Every generation added something to the mix. They learned, they taught the next generation, and progress kept rolling. Sure, we've made mistakes. lots of them, but we've also created art, music, literature, and scientific discoveries that are absolutely beautiful. The story of humanity isn't just about dates and events in some boring textbook. It's about people with dreams, fears, hopes, and determination. It's about every single person who ever lived contributing something to this massive, ongoing project we call civilization. And here's the coolest part: the story's still being written. We don't know how it ends. Maybe we'll solve climate change, cure all diseases, and spread throughout the galaxy. Or maybe we'll face new challenges we can't even imagine yet. But based on our track record, I'm betting on us. Humans have proven time and time again that we're survivors, innovators, and straight-up legends. So next time you're doom-scrolling through bad news, remember this: we came from caves, and now we're literally shooting cars into space for fun. But if that's not the most epic glow-up in history, I don't know what is.